Oh, I did the 3-shot. I meant the 4-shot. Hold on.
Well, Dave's not even here.
There
so
we go.
Dave's...
Welcome to Gray Areas for October 7th, 2025. The empty box is Dave. It's episode 693. Episode 700 is approaching rapidly, but you know who's not approaching rapidly? Dave.
Or dinner for me, because Sean didn't bring any for the whole class. So I don't really understand why he's just chowing down here on delicious oreganos.
You could have asked me. I would have gotten you some.
Did I know you were ordering delicious, wonderful oreganos? No, I didn't know that.
Did you? Oh, you didn't? Oh,
well, how would I know that? You didn't
know.
tell me. You didn't say, "Hey, I'm getting oreganos when the show is on. Would you like anything?" I would have loved something.
Are those sweet potato fries?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, those aren't oregano's fries, but I was like, oh yeah, they had sweet potato ones, and he likes those.
Yeah, and oregano's has somehow, I don't know, to me, not actually gotten worse while I've lived here. In fact, I think I actually like it more now than I did when I was like first moved here.
I agree.
Right? I'm not crazy then.
I don't know if it's gotten better or just other stuff relative to it got worse. Because we don't have grannies anymore.
Yeah.
The honeymoon with ATL ended quickly. I've never really liked Sportsman's Wings, so there's not a lot of options up here, and oregano's is one of the decent ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think we rated their pizza relatively. I was actually surprised how well I think I compared their pizza when we did the pizza rankings.
Because they have good salad, good pasta.
Yeah,
good pizza and good wings.
They have 2 sandwiches I love,
4 pillars of
a salad I love, and like 4 appetizers I love. And I'm like, oh shit, you guys actually like probably one of my favorite restaurants. The more I think about it,
this is a commercial for oregano's.
It is because you have it and it smells really good.
Sponsored
anyway,
by oregano's. Yeah. So anytime I have a question in a show, if they're like, hey, do you want to go to Olive Garden and get those endless breadsticks? Are they like trying to be like kitschy with like a reference, or is that like a sponsored like?
It makes you wonder, huh?
Yeah,
so,
it does.
The first one that ever comes to mind when you point that out is Talladega Nights. It's like, we're gonna go have a family dinner at Applebee's, and it's like, and then we have the literal Applebee's commercial inside the crash. That was clearly product placement. Like they weren't making a joke.
Right.
Clearly they got told to put Applebee's in the movie, and then 3 different times, I think it's 3 different times, made a joke reference to it.
But I was watching Gen V, and they were like, do you want to we should go on a date. Maybe go to Olive Garden, destroy some endless breadsticks.
I think when you name the specific item and feature that would people would be interested in there, then it has to be a sponsor.
I'm really curious now.
I think
were they just trying to be like, everybody knows endless breadsticks, and so it's kind of funny? Or is it product placement?
I feel like it's product placement. I've gone back and watched old movies, and I've missed so much product placement. They snuck in more on stuff, and I was like, oh shit, like Happy Gilmore's the funny one with Subway, obviously. That was a big deal. That one stood out because it was built into the storyline, but I did not catch how often this happened in the late.
Well, and I wonder in the more subtle example, I guess I wouldn't call this subtle, but the less on the nose, like not Talladega Nights level, the ones that Sean is mentioning, some of them are probably speculative, right? Yeah. Like maybe if we float this reference, then we'll get a future endorsement deal.
Yeah, by the studio itself. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, if this is a haha funny thing, but then if they like, oh yeah, let's do some business, they go, okay, yeah, great.
Like if we made, maybe not today, but 10 years ago, if Friends started 10 years ago, would they be hanging out at a Starbucks? would it not be Central Perk? Would they actually just take the product placement of the restaurant?
I fucking hope not.
Yeah.
Right? Like if they hung out there every now, granted, it doesn't look like at all like a Starbucks as live music is happening. But that's a good question. Because certain things, they go to restaurants that are a knockoff version of something else, and there's the joke is in the thing of you're going to one. Brooklyn Nine-Nine did that one time. They went to one where there's all the buttons and flair, and then I'm forgetting the movie Office Space. She works at the similar thing. Those very kitschy type of restaurants that waiting basically makes fun of later on. Those aren't the actual restaurants themselves. It's a joke on the type of restaurant.
Yeah.
Because they're making fun of it.
The one in Office Space is clearly meant to be Applebee's / Chili's adjacent. There's no question.
Exactly.
I guess it's the similar thing with I would feel gross in certain situations. Like the Starbucks Friends one made me feel sick.
Right.
Thinking about the shawarma place in the little viral Avengers clip at the end makes me feel kind of gross if that was. I mean, Jimmy John's doesn't do shawarma, but pick whatever, something like that. That's I don't.
Man, if they were just eating, they made a shawarma joke, but if they made a subs joke or some shit, and they're at fucking Jersey Mike's or Jimmy John's at the end, be like, wow, that's really fucking bad.
Because it's fine if it's helping save a show. Chuck very notoriously had an up and down last couple of seasons. And there's a lot of theories out there that one of the only reasons it even survived for its last jumbled season was because of the tie-in with Subway that they had. Like you mentioned the one from Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Chuck was very similar. And then as a result, they had some characters very clearly spiking the lens and talking about breaking fourth wall style. this Subway sub sure is delicious. Like, it got obnoxious, but fans were okay with it because they're like, yeah, because that partnership allowed us to even have a show. Whereas like the Avengers doing it, they're making billions of Brazilians of dollars. Like, you can't do that.
That's like the Arrested Development bit, which wasn't product placement, but when they're like, they were like trying to get saved by another channel, and he's, I don't remember the whole string of things, but they're like, I think it's Showtime, or it's like, we've got to do this or that, and they're just referencing all of these cable networks, like being like, hey, maybe they'll pick us up. And that string of references, I think in season 3 near the end, was really, really funny. And that was just a quick snap to that. Like, and they did the opposite, because when they were near the end, but I just remember Michael Cera going through the pantry to find like a snack, and it's all empty. Everything is empty, and then he finally finds one that has like a fruit roll-up or a granola bar or some shit, and it's like, you could have just stacked all kinds of products in those cabinets with shit, and instead you made them barren because they're so poor, there's nothing in there.
Yeah. Well, and so later in the same episode, now that I'm already thinking about product placement, they talked about like, oh, we should go play League of Legends and Minecraft.
Yeah, see, that's too many name drops.
Well, it is, but also that was one where I was like, I think they're just trying to be relevant, because like, I don't know if League of Legends and Minecraft is going for like
this audience.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
could be wrong. Right. Maybe if anything is name dropped at all, it's like it has to be a product. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
You made me like think back of like, how many times were there product things that I've like missed or ignored because I just was like, oh no, they're just talking.
A lot of times you'll do it to like be relevant, right, and to make it feel like real and relatable.
Like the show is set in 2024. You want to just say 2024 shit.
Yeah.
So like it on TV, it makes them feel like human beings in your own universe.
It's also interesting because I think in Gen V they reference TikTok, but I've had other shows where they reference like Snap Talk or like some like not real app, version,
Yeah.
And so sometimes they reference it, sometimes they don't. I think that's interesting too.
Yeah. Animes were always famous for doing that in the 90s, where they'd have like an upside down M for McDonald's, and then it was like WickDonald's, and you're like, okay, so clearly you've sidestepped any legal issues here, but we all know what you're doing.
You just want the generic fast food type restaurant that looks very Golden Arches-y like, but the other way.
Yeah, with an upside down Golden Arches. Like the W is the M from McDonald's flipped upside down. So it's very clear, but there must be some wiggle room in the legality of that to where it's fine.
I was going to ask, like, how is that actually legal? Because, like, intention is so clear.
I know.
It's parody laws in a way.
But it's not, though, right? Because it's, unless it's in a comedy, but, like, this happens on straight
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anime.
Like, you can almost argue it's like a misuse of the logo, It's flipped upside down. That's not even the way it's meant to be, but it's clearly our logo. If you flip it, like,
right,
it's a 1-to-1.
I do feel like flipping it is like, you're right, because you're like, okay, where you're deliberately altering it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again, I always wonder that with what, like, how certain high schools get away with using NFL logos and other ones don't, and everyone gets mad and all that stuff. I never understand how that intellectual property
odds
works.
are in those cases, especially, the references were so small. It's like they walk past it. It's in the frame for 2 seconds tops. It's almost like an Easter egg more than anything else. It's not important. So maybe it wasn't worth a whole legal battle if it was morally gray. I don't know, but. Well, I was killing time.
Vamping.
I know. I thought Dave was going to be on a few minutes after we started.
He said 1 to 2 and he lied, so
I didn't really want him to miss either one. Either the new thing I'm going to test on you guys because I want to see how you all do with the test, or the other half of time capsule that we're going to do. I guess we could start talking about American Idol, or we could just vamp a few more minutes. But if we get to the 15-minute mark and he's not on, fuck him.
I mean, I will just say I have watched very little American Idol in my life.
I know a lot from seasons like 1 and 2.
Like I know most of the artists who I think are famous from it. I mean, there's more than I think I realize, but like there's like 3 to me. But
here's my question: do they still? Is it all fan voting still?
I have no clue.
Okay.
It's on ABC now.
Maybe
right?
we can find. It's not on Fox anymore?
No, it left Fox a while ago.
Oh, geez.
And it got rebooted to ABC.
That tells you how far behind I am.
Oh, trust me. There. I have the whole where do we grade the conversation from last week of where do we grade it then versus now and the relevance and all that. I have some strong feelings on this one version of the spinoffs and all that type of stuff because, boy, anyways, I don't want to spoil it all.
Well, I have another question then. In The Voice, is there a fan voting element?
Yes, there is, I believe.
Is that only after?
It's after blinds. So the it's funny because The Voice's most fun version of the show is watch the first like 5 weeks, and they do the blind auditions, and you hear people do covers, and it's like really fun. And then it gets into the battle things, and then all their weird rules about saving and this and that, and then people start voting, and I'm like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, right.
It was really fun to watch everyone like, do they get 4 chairs turned around because they did a really good cover of whatever and they put their own spin on it. It's like, that's genuinely really fun to watch. And then I don't watch the show.
Yeah.
And I do that occasionally. It's really good background TV. Like, oh, you're kind of doing something else. Like, oh, well, Carson Daly won't shut the fuck up for 15 minutes between singers. So I'm just not going to pay attention. But then all of a sudden someone's singing and it's a cool song I know and I like. I want to hear it how it goes. And that's pretty much like my entertainment version of singing shows. I haven't watched American Idol, look at any episode of it since, to your point, like I maybe season 3.
Here's my last vamping thing then. Are you proud of Carson Daly? Because Dave's not going to know Carson Daly.
Does anyone know who Carson Daly is?
He probably will. I just don't like to give him any credit at all. Are you proud of him for staying relevant after TRL?
Yes, I am proud of him.
A little bit, right?
Well, I mean, he also had his late night show on NBC that nobody ever watched. Literally, no one ever. He had the third of the 3 late night shows, right? Because
it was 12:30 or something.
Yeah, it was Leno and then Conan and then him, if I remember right. Originally, that I think was the lineup on NBC. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass.
He was after Conan, I think.
It's before Conan took over for Leno and then got fired and we had all that shit.
Oh, but I mean like literally after Conan.
Yes. He no, I thought he was in the trio order. I thought he was the third.
Yeah,
show.
right. Like late
I thought you meant
show.
after as in replacing, not
No,
after.
no.
Yes, in time slots, I think he was late after that. And
Yeah.
I was like, why is this even a television show?
It's a good question. You can vote, by the way, by texting a number to this number, and you can vote up to 10 times that way, which, by the way, American Idol definitely makes money on when you do that. And then you can also go to americanidol.com/vote and vote 10 more times.
Oh, wow.
You can vote 20 times.
Yeah, I don't.
Vote early, vote often.
So, yes, the fan vote is still a thing.
Okay.
So, hi, Dave.
Dave,
is
we
here.
tried vamping and we just succeeded.
Oh.
We were kind of talking about background that will help us better judge these.
So to then dive in fully, imagine if Survivor had fan voting.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that end of point. Thank you. I don't need to elaborate any further. I just needed to.
It would destroy the entire show.
Right?
Yeah.
It would, right? Because
It
you're
would.
you're not having the person who earns it most, blah blah whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
trying
think
to
I
figure out
love
what-
the idea of fan voting on these like genuine like talent level. Like this is genuine actual talent.
Yeah, because, like, what does fan voting actually improve? It's not good in sports, like All-Star games and stuff.
God,
because
it's
first of
awful.
all, it's stupid, and second of all, there's like contract incentives tied to this stuff, so it's kind of gross.
Well, so let's set the stage, right? American Idol came on his scene, wildly huge. I mean, like everybody, water cooler moment. Everybody's talking about it.
Enormous.
It was a genuine avenue for people who hadn't been discovered to
Mhm.
actually get, because we're talking pre-YouTube where you couldn't just upload yourself singing and all
Yeah.
that SoundCloud, any of this shit, where you couldn't just upload your "this is how good I am at singing" thing. It really genuinely opened the door for people to be discovered. That's why the first couple people who fucking won the show are incredibly famous, talented, award-winning musicians. Not all of them, but a good chunk from the first 5-6 seasons.
Yeah, and I think that's it. And Survivor kind of did that too, where like you're taking actually normal people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Real World and all those, like they're kind of normal, but they're also like really hot
I was
and
like,
really outgoing.
the first handful of them are like very attractive, fun people, but like it was a very fun social experiment. The very first couple seasons of Real World. Again, I've watched a lot of that. Really, actually, a cool idea, especially when you watch them back now, and it's interesting. Like they put someone who's gay on very early, and it's like we're really MTV shockingly pretty open to like trying to help that push that envelope a little bit, even if it was exploiting it a bit. But you're right. Survivor was regular people for the most part, not
and
people
then
who
American
wanted
Idol,
to be on.
like, yeah, you're literally seeing people. Do they doctor it up? Maybe like a little bit, but I think you're seeing actual people standing in line to go sing in a room in front of Simon, Randy, and Paula Abdul.
You would assume the first couple seasons before, or at least the very first season, because people haven't watched the show yet. So that's all genuine because they're not playing it up for what they assume was going to be on TV.
Yeah.
When you're in line the first season, you've never seen this show on TV before. You have no fucking clue it's going to get big. That's going to be such an authentic, actual experience to go back and watch those episodes.
I think you're mostly right. Did this start in Britain though?
Maybe, but I just assume American audience is super ignorant.
That's why I
and-
still think you're right. Even if it did.
would probably like such a small people would be like, oh, cool, there's a singing show that gets you on, blah blah blah. I mean, how many of them who knew who the fuck Simon Cowell was when they went on originally?
It's crazy. This show's crazy to me because it's almost 2 shows in one, isn't it? I don't know if you covered this already, but it's like
No, we're starting
first
now.
part
When
of
you
the
got
sh-
here, nothing's been covered.
Great. Excellent. I know. You wait for me. I'm so glad.
Yeah,
But
we
there's two
did.
shows in one, isn't it? It's basically you have the first half where you get to see the clown freaks, right? You get to the sideshow, the people who are terrible, and you get to make fun of them, and you get to be like, "Wow, look at these awful, terrible people that think they're good," and then they fight back sometimes, and be like, my church group says I'm the best singer in the world," and it's stupid. And then you get the gem every once in a while, and then the second half of the show is like, oh, well, here's a great actual singer, and we're going to have an actual competition, and we're going to see who is the best singer, which I kind of like. That's why the fan vote works in a sense here, because it is kind of like, hey, vote for the best singer. Granted, what it turned into in the future was, who do I like the most, or who can we get the most engagement on, and what that. Again, this has the Survivor problem of being one season would have been great. Multiple seasons ruined it in a way, but it's funny. There's two separate shows.
You hit on what I like though, and like a part of what I'm going to judge on is like, even now, if you were to tell me we're launching season 105 in American Idol tonight, they're airing all the auditions, I'd be like, okay, let's watch it. Like that would still be legitimately fun now. Yeah, and then you get into the actual competition, which is fun and it's exciting, and for the most part, the audience gets it mostly right. And I think when in season 1, Justin Guarini and Kelly Clarkson, I think Kelly was clearly better, but like you could make a case for Justin, like very charming, good voice, different like kind of style. And it was very like tense and exciting. And like, that's, I don't know, everything you want from a television show.
I kind of wonder how much of the show's success is owed to Kelly Clarkson being its first winner.
Oh, yeah.
It was a phenomenon no matter what, but the fact that they actually nailed the first pick here, because she's the biggest star out of this other than maybe Carrie Underwood. That's the only other person who's close. Nothing against Ruben, nothing against like Clay Aiken, who didn't even win. He was runner-up. Nothing against like Jordan Sparks. She's from Arizona. I don't know if you guys knew that. I know Taylor Hicks is big, sure, but like they're not.
Daughtry is pretty big, but she's not. That band and him, they are not Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah,
I mean, it's funny because I think, and granted, like Kelly's pop and Carrie's mostly like country. Carrie's probably the biggest star. She definitely has the most Grammys out of this. She is the Sunday Night Football singer. She had a Vegas residency, which I guess Kelly Clarkson also ended up
I bet you could argue. It's between those two, for sure.
It's for sure
Clarkson's
a good
got a
debate.
talk show, and they went different avenues, so it's hard to compare.
Kelly's probably more famous. Carrie's probably the more accomplished singer. I think that's probably a solid
fair.
middle ground.
That could be, yeah.
But like you're right. Like you nail someone who's very charismatic. I mean, Kelly Clarkson's music when I was in high school was a big fucking deal.
Like this show would have been huge no matter what. It was a big deal in mid-season 1, regardless of who won. I just feel like it got a big boost from Kelly winning because I have nothing against Ruben Studdard, but like if he wins season 1, I don't think it reaches quite the same heights.
No,
so they got sort of lucky, and that the first time they ever did this, and like you said, nobody knew what it was going in, they found one of the biggest potential stars on the planet, and that catapulted them into the stratosphere instead of it just being like a big show. It was a phenomenon.
Well, and so you had the singers, and then you had the judges. And I think Simon Cowell built a reputation for being this asshole. I think in real life, he's really actually not that much of an asshole, but there was this persona of he's such a hard judge and he's never pleased. And actually back then, I bet you nowadays, seeing how people act with other people, he's probably very tame. But back then, he was like, why is he being so mean?
You are probably fucking real right. When he's just like, you're probably just not the quality we're looking for this show. Everyone's like, what a fucking asshole. Like, so he made a statement of fact.
The hosts are taking the people to the back room and consoling them and being like, don't worry about him. He's whatever. And you're like, okay, but like, he's just being straightforward. And then Randy, where like, it's going to be a no from me, dog is still in my like vernacular. And then Paula, because they would fight sometimes. And that was always fun.
Yes.
Because Paula would be like, why are you being such a dick?
Yes.
And
she played
like,
a vaguely airhead persona in that way of what she was doing. Well, which was great because me, young, watch this show, no clue of Paula Abdul's previous career.
Oh, yeah, right.
Then a rapper I like samples one of her songs when I'm in like high school, and I was like, that's fucking Paula Abdul.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I go back, realize I really like that Paula Abdul song, and I really, really like that rap song that samples it. And I fucking realized that years later because of that, which was a really funny realization like 7 years after the
And
fact.
even Ryan Seacrest and the other guy who was fired, I guess, because he wasn't Ryan Seacrest. Do you remember there was another guy?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No.
Neither does anyone else.
That's one of those like Mandela
Brian
whatever
Dunkelman.
effect. It's like, that's not a thing. There was
Yeah.
never another guy.
Isn't Brian Dunkelman in like the Bill Simmons orbit or something? Isn't he? Doesn't he go on Simmons' show on occasion?
I
Or
have
am I
no clue now.
Who?
Brian Dunkelman?
The other
comedian?
host.
Yeah.
That,
I don't-
That you're convinced doesn't exist, actually.
I'm not sure I've ever heard the last name.
He was,
Dunkelman.
as Sean mentioned, he's the co-host in season 1. He got dropped quickly.
I'm trying to think
because-
what other, like, when there's a pairing where, like, one of them is, like, really hot and awesome and the other, like, isn't. Just
So,
like,
if you're gonna be on national television, you know how people take stage names like Ryan Seacrest. That's built for television.
oh, yeah.
What the fuck is Dunkelman as a last name to be on TV? You didn't change that shit. You didn't get some stage name.
I guess
You
I
gotta
guess
go-
not. Maybe that's
You
what
got to
I
go
thought.
either. You got to go either worse or clean. You got to clean it up or go worse. You got to go Engelbert Humperdinck, so it's like really
Yes.
memorable, or fix it and be Brian Dunks.
Yeah,
Or
Dunks
Brian
or Dunk.
Dunkson.
Just that's it.
Brian Dunker, something that
Yeah.
sounds cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Dunker, exactly. Man, that was super easy. We just did that in 5 seconds, and we
Yeah.
saved this guy's
maybe
career.
if we were
Dang.
back then, yeah, he would still be on
we
TV.
could have saved his career.
Yeah.
I have no clue who you're referring to at all.
You look him up.
I'm on American
He also,
Idol's
again,
Wikipedia,
like
so-
Ryan Seacrest was hot, and so like you're on the stage with him, and I don't know, he kind of looked like he was like the goofy sidekick, is what it. In my memory, that's what it was.
Man, the best thing is like you were like, oh, what are these pairings? I'm like, I have a bunch of wrestling tag teams I can refer to as we got rid of the ugly loser guy and the other guy took off. I
Yeah.
can give you those as examples.
So yeah, this perfect fusion of the show and then the voting component, which I think really got people. It was one of the first of its kind that I can remember where people were incentivized to vote it. To
How much does texting, the development of texting, help that? Like, we all have cell phones by 02, whatever the show debuts. And you're like, oh, well, standard text messages rate supply. I remember that fucking phrase for forever. And it's like, oh, it cost you 10 cents to fucking text in to vote because text messages used to not be unlimited. You used to pay for them. Like, I ripped through my minutes of my prepaid phone in high school texting people.
yeah,
But like, how much does the creation of cell phones and that type of service aid all this type of show to be like get this big?
probably a lot because you.
It makes it possible.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
think.
could do what I imagine they would do is a call service, right? You would call in
yeah.
and submit your vote. Obviously, that's a lot more bulky. I don't think you're going to get the same participation. So,
Well, and not to mention, you can have, if you do the call-in service, even in the touch-tone service where you have a computer record all the things, that's one per household, as opposed to by 2004, where every single person, 4 people in a household, all had their own cell phone, could all text in. You triple, quadruple the amount of people that vote, and then you can vote multiple times, that type of thing. You just, all of a sudden, you start expanding this and make it look so great, and all of a sudden, in 15 minutes, you have 10 million votes, and it's like, holy shit, that's numbers that never could have happened before, and look so much more impressive.
yeah. And I liked, again, in the early seasons, you had the judges could influence still, right? So, like, you'd have somebody with a bad week who was maybe like a favorite, and the judge would be like, you were really off this week, and you would see it in the voting. And so it like mirrored like how it should have mirrored, and that was pretty cool too.
122 million votes were cast in 2011.
Yeah.
That was the record high, and it's right about at the tail end of the apex of the show, which still did well after that point, and it's still around. So obviously it didn't like fall off, but it never quite hit the same success as those first 7 or 8 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But 122 million votes cast, and to Dave's point, like there's no way you can do that just via the phone, no matter what systems you have in place. So that definitely helped. They happened to hit it big right as the technological stuff was shifting in a way that made it more accessible than ever. Because yeah, I mean, you can see shows back in the 70s and 80s where it's like, hey, you got to call this number right now, and people are standing by, and you see like the whole like Jerry Lewis telethon set up, and they're. But this was different because now anybody can vote. It's 10 cents. What's 10 cents? Who cares? Well, not $122 million times 10 cents. You can do the math. 4.2 million
And doing like PBS
votes.
when they were like, just want to remind you we're $15,000 away from our goal. And
Oh, we had telethons?
yeah.
Mhm.
And people called in?
Do
we put telethons into the time capsule?
It'll be
Well,
fun.
we can, but they're not going to make it.
They predate our time a little bit, unfortunately, but
Chris, like you mentioned that it kind of peters out around 7 or 8. So Kelly's season 1, I believe Carrie is 3, 4, or 5,
4.
somewhere in there.
That was late. Yeah, like more like. What'd you say, Chris? 4?
4.
Yeah,
4.
that's.
So like, are we like? Was there a dip at all between in like 2 and 3 before you hit another big superstar, and then like they ebbed and flowed a little bit, and it flowed down a little bit, and then they didn't hit another big super? Like, when's Daughtry? What season is that one? Do you have any idea?
Daughtry.
6?
Sorry, I mean, I just
Season
stalling
6. He
air.
wasn't. I don't even think he was a finalist.
No, he was not.
no, he wasn't.
Like he wasn't even one of the last 2. I
And
think
so-
he was like.
Yeah, so it's like he doesn't care. I guess carry that in the same way for the most part. It's like I just wonder if like as you get people like you're like, oh, like we have a big winner, and then it's like, oh, they're kind of fun, and then we have another big winner, and then it
Season
kind of
5.
just dips as you're not producing a superstar.
Now Taylor Hicks wins season 5, so
Sure.
Jordan Sparks is season 6. Adam Lambert's runner-up in season 8.
Okay.
So Lambert's probably the last like.
I
peak.
can't name a single person on this list since then, and we're on season 23.
I would say like Lambert. I mean, again, it's not like I know super every current bit of music and all that, but Lambert probably strikes me as like the last big push the show would have. To your point, Chris, of like that was probably the peak into the run, and they just struggled to generate. And Lambert has like one major album, and then does some other stuff, and he remains kind of relevant. But like you're
It
not.
depends how much you care about Queen, I
Yeah,
guess.
let's say that's
Very
basically the biggest thing he's done is become the Freddie Mercury replacement.
Yeah, you're right. And so it's like, and it's like, is it actually a good thing or is that like a bad thing? Do people get mad about the fact that he's doing that?
A little bit of both.
So yeah, it kind of is a mixed result. And so it feels like there's just like an ebb and flow of what they were able to produce, and I mean, and get drama to it too. But it's funny because like I think back to like the cultural spot of like how many times like I've heard like a Ruben Studdard joke pop up in media over the years,
Yeah.
or a Seacrest joke pop up, or a Simon Cowell reference or whatever, or like I watch Scrubs and Clay Aiken's in a fucking Scrubs episode as we go on. Like there's really funny things to where more than Survivor, this thing bled into a lot of other media all over the place that was like references. I mean, shit, in 40-Year-Old Virgin, he screams Kelly Clarkson as he's getting his chest hair ripped off.
Maisie
Like,
brought up in the comments there's a Shrek 2 bit of
Yeah.
American Idol. So
Exactly. So like it really like culturally even more in some senses than Survivor, it spread out a lot. Survivor
Yeah.
influenced a lot of other new shows.
Yeah.
And this did too. Again, we have The Voice who's on season however many fucking numbers at this point already itself, and it started way later.
So yeah, I mean you're right, Chris. You said that the ratings kind of tail off. I think you said around season 9. When does Simon leave?
I'd have to look. I have some of the ratings up I was going to talk about, but let me see. Simon Cowell.
While you look at that,
Yep.
You mentioned The Voice and other shows like this. This show did spawn the idea to, TV producer, like, wait a minute, people will watch talent shows? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, so
this is the
fair.
easiest
The
thing we can
Voice
possibly
and
do.
X Factor directly because Simon goes and does that, and America's Got Talent, and all these other
Yeah.
ones that are spawned, just like what we talked about with Survivor. Unsurprisingly, people want a slice of this pie, so everybody gets involved with it. But the other shows have also led to some good moments. None have ever reached the apex of American Idol. None have even come close. Simon Cowell leaves after season 9,
good call.
and let's see, the ratings dropped off after season 10.
Okay,
I would say.
so
Well,
people stuck around.
especially
So we did
season-
one season post Cow, and everyone's like, I'm out.
It's
Especially
fine.
like season 11 and beyond. I mean, look, it's harder. You can't blame it only on American Idol because the TV landscape shifts significantly in the mid 2010s as we start to go more streaming. So a lot of things fall off, like we talked about. But I mean, there are season finales of American Idol that are in the 35+ million range, which is just
Yeah,
in the 2000s even was enormous. You're not gonna see MASH finale numbers in the 2000s. The last few seasons are like 5 or 6 million, which is good on legacy television in the 2020s, but it's less than a sixth of what it once was.
Yeah.
So no matter what, you still can't compare it favorably.
Is the Voice beating it in ratings now?
I think so.
I could look.
I know I
I
keep
think The
asking questions.
Voice
I'm just
is
making
like-
Crispy my Googler, but
I think The
Sure.
Voice is king now, and I think that's partially because of Adam and Blake. I don't even know if
It's
they're on
who-
it anymore.
they're not.
But
It's who
okay.
they bring on, and it's mixed with mixed results of what coaches they bring on and how popular they are.
yeah,
I watched a bit of last season, and that was John Legend, Bublé, Christina Ballerini, and man, I'm blanking on who the fourth judge was. That's bad.
The Voice is slightly bigger, although to be honest, the last few seasons it also has actually dropped below American Idol.
Whoa!
But in the early 2020s, late 2010 window, for like 4 or 5 different seasons there, it was beating it pretty comfortably, yes.
And then, Chris, I'm so sorry to do this. Now the judges are Katy Perry still on
American Idol.
on American Idol.
Katy Perry left, I thought.
Oh,
I think Katy Perry's gone. I was looking at that list earlier, and I don't remember. Let me look. Katy Perry's gone. They had like a new trio come in a couple of different times. Let me see if I can find it. Judges and hosts. Right now, it is Luke Bryan, Lionel Richie, Carrie Underwood.
Carrie, all right.
Full
That's
circle.
kind of cool, actually.
Yes.
Lionel Richie's been there for a while. I'm pretty sure I've seen him in commercials. Because again, you watch football. This is a Fox, or it was a Fox show. You get hit with these ads.
Luke Bryan and Lionel Richie both came on the ABC revival, which was 2018.
Okay.
So they've been there for like 7 seasons. Perry left the show just last year. Underwood took her place.
Because she was too busy going to space and putting out a new crappy album.
And just last month, it was announced those 3 are back for season 24.
I guess Snoop Dogg, Niall, and Reba, and whoever else the other voice judges, I guess they're more famous people than those 3.
That sounds like a better lineup to me.
I mean, I don't know that I'm going on The Voice to have Snoop Dogg teach me how to sing. I thought that was a fucking joke when I saw him on there. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, this is pathetic, but whatever. Like, you're desperately trying to get a different demographic in.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know who in their fucking right mind, if they have a judge choice in that show, I'm like, I'm not going to fucking Snoop Dogg's team. But yeah, I guess Adam, I think, was the judge maybe last season still. Come to think of it, he had come back to The Voice and keeps bebopping around. It's funny that most of these fuckers have fucking residencies in Vegas, honestly, that they're on these singing shows and then they're in Vegas. Carrie Underwood's been doing that. Maroon 5's been doing that. Carrie Underwood, it's just weird. Now that I think about it. Kelly Clarkson, I think was in Vegas for a little bit. People are just doing Vegas and then they're going on judging, and that's pretty much their career at this point. That says a little bit.
Makes sense, though. You only need to do, couple months for the show, so then the rest of the time you find other stuff. And
rather than tour, you just go to Vegas for a residency for 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
If American Idol inspired X Factor, can we say American Idol is responsible for One Direction? Because I think we can.
Indirectly, a little, sure.
Which is really funny given... Isn't Niall from that? Am I crazy? Am I thinking of the wrong thing?
Probably.
Isn't he one of the guys that sings in that? Because now he's a voice judge. Anyway.
Could
And that's some really far out tentacles of this show and what it's been able to do.
So Simon, do you know the story of One Direction?
Vaguely, yes. I know Simon's.
They were all, Dave, they all went on X Factor separately, all these singers. And Simon was like, basically, nicely, you all suck alone. What we're going to do is throw you all together, though. We're going to make you a band. And he did it on stage. It wasn't like after the credits. He literally did it in front of the televised audience. And then they became, one of the
literally
biggest bands in the world.
How producers created NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. Just take 4 stranger random dudes and be like, hey, you guys can probably sing better together with the different ranges you have than singing alone because you're not actually rangy enough. So we'll just put you all together to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's Simon's a good talent.
And none of them have really, not to spiral on One Direction, they haven't had a ton of success alone. Harry is the most. He has a couple radio hits. Now. He's acted a little bit. Yet Zayn I think he had one song that I hate.
Didn't Harry have one really famous song?
That's what I'm saying.
A summer song a year or two
Watermelon,
ago.
Sugar.
And now the least famous person is Liam. Because he died.
He did. I was going to say, was that the one who died?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Last year, I think, right?
I didn't know that.
He fell off a balcony?
You know what? In a weird way, he's not the least famous, though, because I knew that. And I think there's some that
I'm pretty sure Niall is the other one. I swear to God, I think this guy's in One Direction.
So even the least famous, has a career.
I think
that's pretty cool.
If he's the guy, maybe I'm going to make an ass of myself, but I think he's the guy from One Direction that is on The Voice as
all
a judge.
The millions of people watching this are
it's just disappointed in me that I don't know boy bands.
Cody.
Meanwhile, I don't remember the name Louis Tomlinson. So if you're asking me to pick who the least famous person was, that's who I would go with.
I don't know who that is either.
Yeah,
I didn't know any of them. So
I guess getting back to American
Idol. Sean, what would you rate One Direction back then?
He looks kind of like Peter Dinklage. Anyways, go ahead.
One Direction back then, I mean, they were hot. They were great. They were. I don't mean hot literally, although they were.
They
also
didn't know they were beautiful.
Yeah.
The problem is they didn't know they were beautiful.
They needed to be told that they were beautiful. No one had told them that.
You know how much I like that song. I mean, back then, American Idol, what literally. My only, no, I'll do that now because that's a beef that I didn't care about back then. I mean, is it like it's like a what? I'm trying to think. Like,
if you're gonna say back then it's a 10, I'm pretty much right there with you.
I'm like, well, because I'm trying to think. Like, did I love it? No, but it was fun. And I'm trying to think of like a way to like, what do I knock off? Like, the hosts were good. The judges were good. The stars were good.
The host is one of the more famous people and as a host. And Seacrest is on fucking Wheel of Fortune now?
Correct. He took over for Sajak.
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know
so
that.
he's got that
Yep.
career.
Okay.
Simon's had all this shit. Paula Abdul had a little boost back to her music career. Ruben Studdard again gets used as a joke. Again, he has a fucking phrase that's like stuck in history. And then for that to be a no for me, dog. Like there's
That's Randy.
Sorry, Randy Jackson. Sorry.
Jackson.
No, Ruben Studdard got him confused. That's probably not good.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, all the hosts, all the judges and the host are like go on to do a bunch of other shit
Yeah.
for the most part and become pretty famous. You have two pretty major, massive stars out of the show of your contestants. If you're just looking at the first run of 8 seasons or whatever, there's not much to demerit on there between the ratings it gets and the cultural impact it has of people need to watch it and get all together, the innovative voting and stuff like that.
And to Dave's point, like the fact that like the first few weeks are like those auditions, which are hilarious.
You have
And
viral
compelling and
viral meme shit that you would be blasting all over social media if it existed at the time that everyone's trading around. And like it just that helped YouTube, I guess. I'm assuming.
If I were to say the words "pants on the ground," like what would that make you think of, Cody?
I don't think I remember that.
You don't remember that one?
I think
Oh,
I'm
God.
forgetting it. If I heard again, I probably don't remember if I hear it.
Well, I would just want to take this moment since Sean's not here to just shit on him for literally eating. Next time he eats food on here, he's going to make sure to have delivery to everybody who watches this show to share food. It's just rude.
You missed me bitching about this for 10 minutes before you got on.
This is great.
I threw
Perfect.
a temper tantrum about not having oregano's offered to me when I showed up.
It was part of the vamping.
Good. I'm really glad that we're on the same page
Yes.
without knowing it. That's
I
fantastic.
said,
Perfect.
Sean, the next time you do this, I hope you bring enough for everyone, like in class when your teacher tells you that.
That's what I said. It's amazing.
Yeah.
No, pants on the ground. There was a old guy who stood up there and went, "Pants on the ground, pants on the ground."
Yeah.
Looking like a fool with the pants on the ground.
Now I remember. Yeah, I think of William Hung. Is that his name, right?
Mhm.
Which
Is that the she bang?
yes. Which, by the way, then gets used in Arrested Development. A nice Fox crossover.
I mean 10. It's a 10. I would be foolish to give it anything else.
I agree
Even
with you.
Maisie knows pants on the ground. I didn't know pants on the ground.
and
Yeah, I
she wasn't
agree
even
with it.
alive when that happened.
It's just so far reaching for those seasons and still burned into my memory for everything I've rambled about. That there's so many other shows and things and movies I've watched that all have references to American Idol, and not necessarily like right in the moment. Years later, they did that.
Yeah.
Like Randy Jackson autographs the samurai sword in fucking Step Brothers, and that's the joke that they have in that movie for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing. It's just thrown in
So Cody, are you a 10 then as well, or like
for
9?
back then for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Dave.
See, this is the cultural impact versus what I liked. It was never something I wanted to watch because it was like, cool, yeah, these are good singers. Sometimes they're funny. Even back then, I didn't love hey, they're making fun of people who are trying their best. Like, it made me feel bad in a sense, but also when people went up there trying to be ridiculous, it was kind of funny. I can only imagine if it had the same popularity now that it did back then, how all these TikTok influencers would just try to get their name out there and like walk up with the shirt saying whatever their handle
dude,
was
that
on
would
TikTok.
be awful. It would be
It would be
awful.
it would
so
work.
awful.
But I am thinking around, because of all that, around probably a 9 back then, but I will actually bump it up to a 9.5 because Ryan Seacrest did try to high five a blind guy once, and that was probably peak comedy, which that bumps it up to 9.5 for me.
Generous.
I think it's interesting, just really quick, like you talking about they're making fun of people. It's like, for so many of these people, this is the first time in their life that someone around them, speaks like the coddle culture. That no one has ever told them they're bad before. Yeah, totally go on the show. Now, are some people, maybe they were really good and they choked?
Yes,
Probably,
sure.
yes. But a lot of people, they're like, yeah, like you said, Dave, my church thinks they've always told me I'm the best. Simon being like, "You're actually terrible." No one has ever told them in their life they're terrible before. I think it's kind of like an important thing. I don't mind it.
I agree with you on that sense. Of like, there's something about dodgeball. Like, this is a metaphor for dodgeball. It's like dodgeball is the time in school where you learn where you fit in and how you're going to deal with it the rest of your life. And that's the same type of thing as Simon Cowell telling you, "Hey, you suck at singing. Do something else."
What do you mean with dodgeball? Is it because you're selecting teams, or because like
it's because
how many balls get thrown in your face immediately because you're the weak one who you can get eliminated really easily?
Yeah, right. Is that
either you're going to have to figure out how to do something successful outside of athletics, or hey, maybe you're super athletic. You know, who knows?
Well,
you're
I thought you were like, how
which
many
one it
times
is.
can you get hit in the face and keep like getting up?
No, it's like the hierarchy. It's the food chain. And it's like when we pick dodgeball teams, you're picked last, and as soon as we go, 6 people throw their ball right at you and you die and you're out. You probably know you suck, and everyone views you that you suck because they knocked you out right away.
That's good motivation,
as a short, tiny kid in 6th, 7th grade, I really understand where Dave's coming from.
Look how it motivated you.
Because I was the super tall kid who threw it at you.
Yes, and I was, while tiny and not able to throw very hard and get people out, pretty weaselly and able to sneak around and hide and agility dodge quite a bit of shit. And you're like, oh, you get a little respect. It's like, oh, well, you might look tiny, but oh, you're actually kind of fast and athletic. So like, to Dave's point, I got to prove myself past being 5'2" in fucking 7th grade.
I liked baiting the throws because if you catch it, then they're out. Yeah. But if you overbait, then you get like 4 balls at you at once, and there's nothing you can do. Then.
I think of to the movie, thanks to Dave's metaphor, I think of Dodgeball, the movie itself, and I think I'm basically just Justin Long.
Oh yeah.
And I'm getting my ass kicked over and over again, but then he makes a really big catch, and like later on, it's like, oh shit, he saved him, and he got a guy back, like that type of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also found that out in the playground, by the way. Whenever there was a draft, you could always see that the last 2 kids were not having a good time.
No.
I know. Yep. That is true.
I was normally a medium late draft pick, so it wasn't too bad. It was fine.
Back then.
Yeah, 9.5 for me.
This is interesting because, again, we have another thing that's ongoing, just like last week. So we're looking at this a little differently than we have in the past, because my back then score now is like more relative to how much I cared about it back then. And my answer, just like last week, is less than I do now. So, like, back then, this was better for me than Survivor. I did watch some of Season 2 after Season 1 was so successful as it was happening. So I would give it like a 7 back then. Because at the time, I didn't really appreciate it for what it was. And I do think that, in general, both Survivor and American Idol and all 75 shows that each spawned, I started to resent a little bit, probably unfairly. I can say this is my fault at the time, but it's like this wave of television that I wasn't really super enamored with back then. So all of it contributes to me not liking things as much in the moment. But my score will go up now.
I agree with you, Chris, because I remember being like, okay, there's Survivor, and there's Big Brother, and there's Real World, and there's American Idol, and there's Talent. And it's like, oh my God, like there's no TV shows anymore. Like, or it's all these reality shows. It felt like that was the wave of it.
There's no TV shows for Dave to not watch and not enjoy anymore.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
So what the fuck do you care?
Hey, I watch shows.
Yeah, Star Trek. And
yeah, but he wanted to not watch those shows, not watch the reality shows.
If I'm gonna not watch something, I better not be watching fiction television.
I've watched so many TV shows.
Now is hard. So now we talked about kind of like the trifecta: the hosts, the judges, and then like the talent. It feels like the talent is not as they're not being elevated to the same stratosphere. I'm not going to say they're not as talented. I don't watch the show. Maybe they are.
They're probably not, honestly.
Yeah, I don't. Again, to your point, if you're really good, you're probably more easily discovered in another avenue.
I think so. I don't think you have to go through a competition show.
Yeah.
I think we have enough ways for people on TikTok and all this shit to be like, oh shit, you're kind of good. I mean, to be fair, I haven't looked into where did like XYZ come from, like in terms of the most like Olivia Rodrigo. Where did Olivia Rodrigo come from? Where did Sabrina Carpenter come from? I don't know.
Yeah.
The pathway to them getting discovered.
She's on Disney.
That's true. It's like a bunch of Disney. I mean, fuck, just be
Ariana
a Disney
Grande
actor.
too.
Yes, well, that was Nickelodeon. How dare you?
Well, whatever.
But no, how dare you?
Same thing.
No, different, much different. But those were its own function, I guess, of finding people. But it's like, I don't think there's not really the same purpose and use for this because there's a lot of other avenues to get talent discovered between being a child actor, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, or, be a Nepo baby, I guess.
And I don't like the judges as much. And although they're fine, depending on who it is. And we've seen some flaws in the voting. Like where I said in the beginning, I thought the audience did a really good job of reflecting how they should. Somebody had a really bad week, they paid for it. There was not, they didn't always agree with me, but I was like, I could see where they were coming from. Now, I mean, the most famous example, that one guy where he was clearly terrible and kept getting votes week after week after week. I didn't like that. Can you guys not right now in the middle of the Siri?
Move along. I dared to touch one, and the other dog got jealous.
So,
okay, well, he's
anyways,
going to cause more problems. Under you.
So right now, I would say with the way that the voting and all the other things I said, probably like let them play right in the living room. Let them play. Probably like 7.5. Like it's very like kind of like the epitome of like fine now.
Yeah,
it's fine TV. I don't.
But keep in mind that if we're going to do this the way we did it with Survivor, we are ranking the first few seasons as of now, not where it currently is, because that's what we would be putting into this.
Oh, yeah, right.
Because otherwise my score would not be going up as much. But we're really looking at, for Survivor, it was like the first 5 or 6 seasons. In this case, again, it looks like there's a pretty clear drop-off after around 8 to 10. And I don't think it's cherry-picking to do this because that's a long period of time. If we ever do The Simpsons for this, we will probably talk about the first 10 seasons more than we will the subsequent 35 or whatever it is by the time they're done. So keep that in mind when you're giving a now score, because the now score is what matters for if this goes in. It's more a reflection of the early seasons by today's standards.
Okay, then in that case, I would say like 9.5 because I've grown to not like Corvo, come here. I've grown to not like the voting. The fan voting as much. What I would love is if fan voting played a role, but like the judges like each had a vote and then fans had a vote.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
If it was like 25% of the vote or something like that, I think that would be a little better.
Yeah, now maybe some studio exec is like, you totally missed the point. This is how we get fans engaged. And I get that.
Sure.
But from like a competitive, interesting standpoint, I don't like it as much, but I mean, it's still good. And if I'm looking back then, that would be the only thing that I really feel like I look at differently now. Yeah. I still love the judges. I still love all of that. Like I said, so yeah, 9.5.
I think if I was time capsuling it in like 2012, I'd probably stay at a 10. I'd be like, no, it's still super culturally relevant. All these people are still, and they're still, impactful and famous now, but like go back, 10, 12 years, they're even more popular still. They're still on TV in different forms, all that. I think now, because what'd you end up with, Sean? You said 9.5?
9.5, yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably like at a 9 now, mostly just because I think the later seasons and all the things Sean has said have damaged the original seasons to me. Because again, I think in the moment I was excited for this. It was fun. You're going to find new singers. You get to hear stuff again. I listened to Kelly Clarkson when I was in high school, and her coming out of this was like a cultural big deal thing to me. And the longer it's run, I'm like, it's like when an athlete hangs around too long, and you're like, man, you're really kind of damaging your legacy. Like you're hurting your batting average. You're hurting whatever. Your averages are trickling down for your career overall, shooting percentages, whatever. And that's what I feel like the revival specifically to bring it to another network has done for me, to where I still think it's a 9 because of all the stuff I said. All those memories are burned in my head. They haven't gone away. Most of them are still funny. I don't like resent being like, man, I can't believe all this shit referenced American Idol. How weird. It's like, no, that all makes a shit ton of sense. All that was culturally impactful, and they're still around now. Yeah. So I think I landed at 9 now, and it would be higher if we did it 8, 9, 10 years ago. I'd probably still say it at 10.
Dave, we're at 9 and 9.5.
Yeah, I was 9.5. It's going down from there for me. I'm right around probably lower than Sean. I'm probably in the 6.5 range myself, and some of that comes from I know I didn't love it back then. It was interesting the first season because it was like, wow, they get a contract. Like they're actually going to like make it in the music business. And then you hear stories about how that contract is super restrictive and how, they'd be much better off. People of that talent should have probably been discovered otherwise and probably had better contracts. So that knocks it down a bit for me because it's just one of those like, oh yeah, cool, big TV studio taking advantage of people. There was a story that I saw where American Idol contestant was suing the network because they like were making her work 8 straight days without getting paid at all, things like that. So it's just bad stories you hear coming from these, and that's unfortunately probably a reality of reality TV show. So I think I'm 6.5 in there because it's something that I recognize as interesting, and I just don't think it stands the test of time with now all the other opportunities that exist nowadays.
I think it's gonna be the one take I don't shit on you for, because like as an example, if you were watching Real World and you're like, I love Real World, and you were to find out the whole thing is scripted,
Yes.
that would damage your opinion of it. So to hear, oh man, you have this premise where I think they really make it big, and then they kind of do, but they also don't always, and it's really bad.
It's like they're locked into a 5-album contract,
Yeah.
and that's way below market value because, well, we helped you get that. And you would have never done it without us in the first place. Like it feels like Kelly Clarkson ended up perfectly fine for the most part. I'm sure she probably got screwed over a bit. I would estimate the winners of those shows and the push of them gets really bad around season 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know about Carrie Underwood's early career. I see exactly where Dave is coming from.
How much
on
money
that.
do you think they made from Justin to Kelly?
I forgot that
The movie?
existed.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I
And-
forgot that existed.
Also, you got to think about like the low light of Kelly's career is probably the highlight of Justin. I mean, unless you would say maybe American Idol itself, but like
holy
Justin never did
fuck.
anything. He had the movie and that was it.
I have not heard the phrase from Justin to Kelly in
Yeah.
like a decade.
I always thought that
anyways.
was about Justin Timberlake. Huh, I learned something.
That was sort of like unearthing a time capsule into itself.
Yeah,
Like, here's this thing you
Fuck.
haven't considered or conceived of in a decade plus.
exactly.
Well, congratulations to Kelly for making it past that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
exactly.
I went from a 5 to an 8 then, and now on Survivor, I was a 6 or a 7 then. I'm gonna
think
go
you were
8.5 on Survivor on American Idol, because I think just like with Survivor, it's somewhat self-evident it has lasted this long and is still around, and that's pretty remarkable in the modern TV landscape. And none of its followers have really risen to that level. Yes, The Voice surpassed it, but only 15 seasons into its run, so like it did, and it deserves credit for that, but The Voice couldn't have come up to that level the first 3 seasons when it was averaging like 30 million viewers an episode regularly. Not even finales, like mid-season it was pulling these huge numbers. And some of the stars have resonated. It isn't just like, it wasn't all for show. It wasn't bad winners. Again, a lot of the top people from the first 6 or 7 seasons have carved out their spot in the industry. So as a breeding ground for talent, it succeeded. So like I have to go like 8.5. I don't think I can go any higher, partly because of the stuff Dave mentioned, which I remember reading about as well. Like some of these contracts and the language within were so restrictive that you'd be like embarrassed. And that's not even specific to American Idol. That's just like music in general. I mean, think
Yeah.
about what Taylor Swift went through. I mean, I know her stock is falling this week, but like, her re-releasing all of her albums because she finally got control of them after all those years and how huge she became. So it wasn't just American Idol doing this, but if American Idol was emblematic of the entire industry and showing its warts, it gets a slight dock from me as well.
Yeah.
But at 8.5, it still comfortably makes it into the time capsule.
I like that you brought up too, like instead of denigrating it for getting surpassed by The Voice, like we should give it some kudos for like this would be like if BlackBerry still existed. Like when someone comes to take your market share and you survive still, that I think you deserve some recognition for that.
I'm really though, like I watched a lot of The Voice, and I can't, other than one singer who I knew beforehand already of her, I don't know who on The Voice won and became like remotely famous at all.
What were you gonna say, Dave?
It's just funny you mentioned something surpassing it. We have the Nintendo and the Game Boy in there, and those have absolutely been surpassed by many different things. Yet they're still there.
But no. That's different though. That's not direct competition. That would be like if
True.
Sega came and killed Nintendo.
Yeah, and
Which
then
we
we put
know
the
didn't
NES
happen.
in.
But-
And by the way, we have BlackBerry on our prospective list of time capsule candidates, although I don't like its odds because
Yeah.
even in the moment, you could argue at its absolute apex, did it even last long enough or make enough of an impact? I mean, it was huge for like 3 years.
I was gonna say 3 years was my guess.
The
for
movie's
But-
really good. I'm sure it's very fictionalized.
Yeah.
Actually, I know it is, but
And then
it's
it fell
still
off.
there's enough kernels of truth that
Right.
it's
what?
yeah, it's a BlackBerry movie with Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny. It's great. Oh, it's like a really good movie actually.
When was this released?
Maisie, 2 years ago?
On like a streaming service? Please tell me Apple did it because that'd be really fucking funny.
No, it wasn't. No, I think I don't know if it was theaters.
2023. Blackberry movie 2023.
Prime?
Yeah, it looks like it's a movie. It came out on Hulu now. You can watch it on Hulu now, but
Yeah. It was the guy, Burchell.
Jay Burchell.
Jay, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the main guy, and then Glenn Howard.
He's Mr. Blackberry?
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's a really good movie. You should watch it. Seriously.
it was on Netflix. It was on Netflix.
Okay.
Is what it was.
Originally?
Yeah.
I'm
Man,
surprised.
I really wish Apple had gotten the rights to that because that would have been just such a
That would've been funny.
fucking slap in the face.
Yeah.
And that's the episode.
Hey, we beat you. Haha.
Yeah.
So American Idol makes it in
All
with
right.
slightly over an 8.5. Only needs a 7, so it comfortably cleared it no matter what. And it joins the 17 others that have successfully made it in, but there's more than 2/3 that haven't. So the time capsule is still pretty rarefied air. The highest standard for that was not quite as high as the highest standard for Hall of Fame. When we did that segment, that was an 8. This
Okay.
was only a 7. But still, a 7 requires some pretty good effort. And I don't look at this list and see anything I think is hugely wrong.
We should relitigate the Hall of Fame with Cody now, too.
So
I think he's gonna have
so I can expel people from the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Sean just wants a do-over on J.K. Rowling.
No,
that's all.
because I don't. Cody's opinion on J.K. Rowling, I think, is going to be very complicated
It is quite complicated.
because he's a huge Harry Potter fan, but also
and I
I'm
fucking
really
hate that
hates
bitch.
bad people. So
I really, really hate her.
and to be fair, when
And
we
yet I do consume her media still.
when
so.
we did it, the worst that we knew about was going back and like retroactively changing things in her books. That was her big knock. Since then, her stock has lowered quite a bit.
there was just the tiniest hints of her being a TERF at the time.
Yeah.
Very, very little was known about it,
Ooh,
though.
early
it, was,
TERF.
it was not much to go on, and now obviously it's basically the only thing she's known for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. I think she'd be our first candidate for the Hall of Shame.
That she wasn't at the time, because I thought even though she is doing all this weird stuff with going back and being like, oh, actually Dumbledore's gay, actually this, actually that, I was like, she wrote like the most culturally impactful books. I mean, you could argue in history based on readership
The fact of
and
how long
movies.
they've lasted.
Yeah.
How long they've lasted. My son is literally halfway through the 7th book right now. He's 9 years old. He came out. He was born 9 years after they finished writing, and yet he's still
Yeah.
blowing
I mean,
through.
how
reading these
many
books.
books? I mean, Disney in a way as stories. How many books create a fucking theme park? I mean, like there's a theme park related to a
Mhm.
book
Right.
or 7 books.
So there's so much, and yet she's one of the worst people, and not just the turf stuff, which is by far the worst, but just like so petty when she gets on, and the kid stars, they've been decently gracious of kind of separating themselves,
Oh, doesn't she hates?
and now so
Oh,
they
Emma
Emma
like,
Watson,
Watson, right?
She like tripled down on Emma Watson last
yes,
week.
she just
Like,
did recently. There was a whole big thing where Emma Watson's like, I like to think we can disagree and still love each other. And J.K. Rowling's like, fuck that bitch.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like,
okay.
Emma Watson, I'm pretty sure has aged pretty gracefully of like not growing up like fucked up after being a child superstar, like international superstar.
Not according to J.K. Rowling. She
And
was
I'm
a
like-
millionaire at 14, and therefore is
I was
so.
like, hasn't she done a decent amount of philanthropy and stuff? Like, I feel like she's done a pretty good job. And then like Radcliffe basically has used his money to like just do weird arty like type
Yeah.
movies and been like, well, I don't have
Mm-hmm.
to make money with crap. I can just do weird stuff. I'm like, more power to you for just going out there and doing whatever you want to do. I was like, I thought that most of them were pretty like well adjusted impressively
I
enough.
mean, almost no one exemplifies art versus personality more than her. So when we debate her,
Yeah.
like Michael Jackson is, probably way up there on that debate too.
The wrestler example was always Chris Benoit.
Yep, I thought about him too.
Uh,
Yeah. So
Art
there's
from-
examples, and it really comes down to which one you care about, right?
I mean, should we just do Vince McMahon by himself?
That's another one now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
So
That's
anyway,
mostly
so
bad.
clearly there's potential there.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And we also would have to look at like new additions at some point. We haven't even made the list in a while. There's probably some folks who have passed or who've like, I think we already did Bruce Willis. I have to go look. But if we did, now we can pretty much say his career's over.
Yeah.
He's unfortunately like completely addled by dementia at this point from all reports. So like now is the point where we could actually do it and look at the full breadth of his career. but it also feels weird because he's still alive. And so I don't know how to approach that segment anymore. I don't think we should do it when we're doing people that are still active because of what happened with an example like JK, where it's like, okay, well, you were this and now you are not.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
There's been
Yeah.
people that have died recently that are pretty famous, and I guess maybe some of them are too old for us.
I mean, famous people die every year, so it'd just be a matter of like, do we approach it from that angle and just do it when someone passes, or
Yeah.
we'd have to maybe reevaluate.
I think
but-
in my brain I was like, well, like Gene Hackman was a really, really famous actor and just recently died, unfortunately. You know, like that popped into my brain of like, oh yeah, like he's an example of like.
But then that
someone-
complicates it too, because if you're like, yeah, oh, this person, and then I hate their career, and
Well,
then it
that's
feels
what I'm
like
saying,
you're shitting on them because they just died, and then it gets
it
complicated.
gets weird. You're right. Also, like some of those movies are really old, so I don't know how to affect.
But I think it's fun because like Robert Downey Jr. has gone through like one renaissance,
What a roller coaster.
arguably two, depending how Doomsday goes. Like I don't know. Well, no, because yeah, he would be fascinating actually to even do again. I think we did him before.
Johnny Depp,
Johnny Depp is trying to come back,
up and down.
unsuccessfully thus far, but we'll see.
He's in those Sauvage clone commercials all the time. He's very famous. Doing very well for himself.
Sure.
In the
He
last
hangs out with an AI
10
wolf.
years, he is most no, not 10. Some amount of years, he's most famous for his antics in the courthouse and all the memes.
Yes,
Yeah. Well,
and being on a cologne commercial.
Well,
so, anyways,
could be a future episode or episodes. If we either go back through like all the ones we did in the past for this or Hall of Fame, or we just pick some and that might be the most interesting.
You just
'Cause-
find anyone that if I give them like a 5 or lower, I knock them out of the Hall of Fame. Will just rapid fire me, be like, nah, 4, get them out.
Yeah, because I don't think we need to go back into the NES if we redo Time Capsule. I'm pretty confident it just stays put. I don't know that any of us would have hardened on that a lot over the
I
years.
like most of everything you guys have on here, except for I don't give a fuck about teddy bears.
It was a
Not
lot of
stuffed animals as a whole.
it was like
well,
all
I care
stuffed
about stuffed
animals,
animals.
but it was also Michelle influence. So
Mostly everything else, I don't know. Batman's a pretty big deal still. Sonic's a really big deal
Yeah.
now. Like, those seem fine.
yeah, did we do Sonic
I
before
would
the
have voted
movies?
Mulan lower.
that was specifically Sonic 1 through 3.
Okay.
Well, Sonic as a cultural impact is very big now. So,
Yeah.
okay, good for
Well, you could do
Sonic.
that separately, but that's almost more of a candidate for Hall of Fame. Where we did do Link once, so that would be more up that alley than this.
Oh, yeah.
So something to think about. Plenty of material there, though, if we want to go back to it. The segment wasn't a bad segment. We just got, waylaid by other things because if we come up with something new, we usually do it a few times in like quicker succession, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's been like 2 years since we did a time capsule. Whoops.
Yeah.
So plenty of stuff there in future weeks. Maybe next week. You don't know. In 2 weeks as a Suns preview, you can come and see what we're going to predict for a win total. It's not going to be mid-50s like last year, so
Wait,
that should be
It's
exciting.
going to be
what was our
bad.
surprise?
You're not going to find out. We
I
ran
want
out
my
of time.
surprise.
Oh, we ran out of time.
So you can either blame yourself for talking too much about American Idol, or you can blame Dave for postponing
You-
us talking
It's
about
definitely Dave.
By
you
15
bumped my
minutes.
surprise? Disrespectful.
Sorry. It's Dave's fault. Don't blame Chris. Blame Dave.
Always.
I blame you for
Blame my
eating.
kids.
Actually, I blame you
Yeah,
specifically
actually, yes,
for
it's
eating
your
so
fault
much.
for eating. You would have gotten your thoughts out so much faster if you weren't like.
That's not true.
it. Here
time.
is a
It's true.
teaser for the surprise.
Okay.
Only for the video people.
It's a map.
There you go. What does that mean? Who knows?
Is it GeoGuessr? I like GeoGuessr.
Maybe you'll find out in a future week.
I fucking love GeoGuessr.
That's only one of the 5 that I had prepared has a map in it. So who knows what any of that is
Okay.
for or what that might mean, but you were going to need your whiteboards for it, and now you don't because the episode is over.
Yes, it is.
But we'll see
Okay.
you next week. Thank you for joining, especially on the YouTube side. Remember, you can always show up on YouTube and join the live chat. I put your messages up on the screen as long as they don't suck, and everybody's happy. So that's at youtube.com/@GrayAreasLive, or visit our website. It's not even updated anymore, but there's still like 15 years of posts on it. That's grayareas.live, and we'll see you next week.